And so I'll be trying to take notes in the new agenda system, so there might be points where I might. Oh, that's been
Oh.
catch up, but
No
shouldn't be
worries.
too bad.
Right. Alright, so we call the meeting to order at 6:43. Roll call.
Chair Rainison. Vice Chair. Yeah,
Present.
it's not. Commissioner McCormick.
Present.
Commissioner Moreno is absent. Commissioner Porter.
Present.
Commissioner Taylor is absent. And Commissioner Zamora.
Present.
Great, secretary's report.
Yeah, so the agenda was posted. So the agenda was posted on Friday, August 8th at 1:51 PM.
Okay. Now, we can approve the agenda, move to approve the agenda.
Move to religion. Second.
Right. Those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? Good. Great. Now looking at the minutes from June. Right here. It's a new font or new format or something. This feels
Yeah,
nice.
so this is, yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
hey, this is nice.
This is the new agenda management system, and so these are the minutes that it produces as opposed to older systems. So yeah, it's definitely a nicer, cleaner look.
We got the little pass right there, the result. The mover, the secondary, wow. I like the move. Great, we'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Okie dokie. Now, public comment. Do we have any public comment?
No speakers at this time.
No? Okay, great. So then we can jump right into old business, 7.1.
So this item is an update that the commissioner requested previously for the budget and the finances, right, and the two funds that the commission has access to. As you can see, the Arts and Culture Donations Fund is low, $144.48 is all it remains in that little fund. That's one of the commission's activities that aren't producing public art itself. The Public Art Project has 43,280. Of that, 7,340 is obligated to certain purposes, which are listed below in the staff report. Bench installation and a reserve for updating and repairing, bench plaques, murals, etc. So the amount that's actually available to the commission for public art is $35,939. So that's the funding that we have at this point. That's a key consideration. We kind of go on to the next topics of the various projects, what plan items is that limited amount of donations fund.
Okay. Can you repeat what those arts cultural donations fund?
Yeah.
Like why is it that low and where do they normally come from?
Yeah, so the donations fund come from, there's any donation is to the Arts and Culture Commission or arts in general. The other funding is the bench plaque program. So whenever somebody submits for a bench plaque at one of our parks, then the fee that they pay for that then is deposited into this fund. So right now, those are the only two sources of funding that this fund receives. There's not really any active current fundraising efforts for it. So that would be one of the targets in the fundraising programs to fund this part.
Got it.
You can also raise funding for the public art project. That fund gets its donations also from developers. So when they are required to provide a public art, instead of doing it themselves, they'll sometimes just give us what they call fees in lieu. So they just pay an amount and then allows us to essentially say, you go ahead and procure whatever public art you want. So that's where that fund comes from. And that's why it's there's a lot more there just from the development that's happened.
Yeah, that makes sense. As far as the bench plaque is concerned, is that a program that has Like, does it have a ceiling, Kenley? I'm assuming it's just the number of benches we put, in, but like, what's our inventory at the moment look like?
We can look into that.
Yeah.
I don't have the numbers off the top of my head. I know there's, most of the established parks are already full. So it's on the
Mm.
kind of the newer parks that remain available as they've come in. So, I can get from recreation what those are and report back to the
People
commission.
like those benches.
They do,
They
yeah.
like to sit in them.
But I like to know when they come available. I don't know where do we hear those news of like new, we've set out new benches, like who wants them? Who wants the plaque?
Yeah, most of them are done at the time when the park was first open.
Right.
So they
Mm,
build, design, have set their benches. So once the park is open, those benches are then established.
okay.
And usually that report goes to the Parks and Rec Commission. So this is one of those interesting things and hopefully word doesn't spread to us, but in reality, it's a donation for item in the park. So Arts and Culture Commission is getting it about some arrangement in the past.
Yes, you can have it
It's not really, I mean, in theory,
around town.
the Parks and Rec Commission would have a good argument to take those funds themselves.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna, we'll talk that thing. But that is the way this been established, that's been this past established practice. And so that's funded those type of arts. And really, the naming, or not the name, the inscription that's on it is reviewed by the commission. That's why the commission gets it, because
Mhm.
you guys are the ones that determine whether that inscription is okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the logic that was applied back in that time. So.
I wonder if we
Correct.
couldn't kind of publicize that a little bit more, that program a little more. I've never seen any kind of announcement about it, or even, so-and-so's bench has been dedicated in like a city newsletter, for example. I know it's probably a low on the totem pole sort of announcement, but just even alerting people to the availability of this program
Yeah.
could, drum up interest. And also kind of give those who did donate a little feather in their cap.
Sometimes we don't need it.
I know, you
Because I have-
never need it, you never need it. You'll never need it. You're so generous.
We can relay that, so really, it's more of an operation consideration, but we'll pass the recommendation to our communications agent manager and let them take a look at that, yeah.
And hopefully with all this downtown now and a lot of people, they see benches.
Mhm.
No, I meant, not that they didn't see them before, but back to what you're thinking about and exposure to.
Right.
But is kind of neat because you see the benches and they sit down with all the people that are visiting Thursday nights.
Yeah.
So thank you, yeah.
That might be a cool post for like the Did You Know series. I think the city does something like that. I haven't seen it on Instagram.
Yeah, we
Did you
have
know you can,
do this.
well, there, yeah,
Right.
you know, with
The
the.
Gilroy
with that-
Dispatch, I think, does,
Oh, that
kind of
did.
like interesting little.
Yeah, I think so. Do you know the price point off the top of your head, like, or like ballpark?
Oh,
Do you remember?
it's
No,
a low.
It's not
low
that
hundreds.
much.
It's not.
no, it's not lots and lots of money. I
Yeah,
just
it's
don't.
pretty small,
yeah.
So I think there was at one point a lot of bench plaques, and so it built up those funds, but
Yeah,
again, it's one of those things that it doesn't.
Well, it was developing too. I mean, things just like even by the Arts Alliance, that was all new.
mhm.
The grass and all that. So there was an opportunity.
Well, I see that.
So it depends how it's developed, the town is developing. But use the spots that are available in, that's already developed.
Right. Wonder if there's like premium spots you could scale.
Can we auction certain spots, you know?
Well, the neat ones are
Right.
on the history.
Yeah,
Those are neat.
The
Yeah,
history
those
in downtown,
are-
or, that should be a
those are
premium in
expensive.
downtown, you know?
Yeah,
So, I like that. Does it matter if and when we do our fundraising event, whether it's gala, et cetera, whatever? Does it matter which of these funds it goes to?
Yes.
It will be the arts and culture donations?
Yeah,
side?
so it's up to the commission to determine when the fundraising, what it wants to raise funds for.
Mm,
So the arts and cultural donations has more discretion from the commission, so it can function, like it funds it can be used to do public art.
Mhm.
But it can also be used for commission activities, events, that type of thing.
okay,
Public art project is specific, just public art projects.
got it.
Some people are fine, and this is something we'll talk about when it comes to time to talk about fundraising, generally. But some people are fine with having groups have discretion, some really want to restrict their funding. And so, that's something that would have to be considered as well, once that fundraising strategy is developed.
Right.
But that's it for reports. If there's any other questions, we'll probably do going forward is have this as like an insert in the staff comments. So that way, every month it's there, and then as transactions happen, you'll put it days.
Yeah, that's helpful. That's good to know. Thanks for including that. Let's see, where are we at now? The 26, 27 work plan? Okay.
Yeah, so as we typically do, we have a section just for this standing item on all agendas. It's to use an opportunity for the different commissions to provide updates, or the committees, subcommittees to provide updates and commission to take action or take action with these items. So a couple questions generally for the details. As events and things get closer, usually we end up breaking them out down items. Right now, everything's still lumped together. Is there an interest at some point to break these out into standing items just for one staff report for each one, or does it still make sense to have everything together on one discussion topic?
What's the,
The-
I guess
There's not really any specific, one thing we can do, so right now, we do the standing one, there's no real history of what we talked about.
Mhm.
The background
that
section.
makes sense, yeah.
So the thought like things like for the Love of Gilroy event, or some of these events, there'll be as more stuff gets completed, then you have in the background section, all things have been ironed out and discussed. And kind of plan that way. Lumped together to do that, it would make the one staff report super massive and
Yeah.
things can get lost in it. So it could be where certain items get their own staff report and everything else stays in the group
Yeah,
together. It could be that every single one has its own, and as history develops, add to it. But that's up to the commission kind of going forward, how you want to display that.
That makes sense.
I personally feel that having individual reports is smart that way. As is progress in each one of the items,
yeah,
you don't lose track of that. That being said, something like the community, the dance days that we had in mind, looks like it's going to be probably at least a year before we actually are able to get to any kind of planning stage. Because clearly we're in desperate need of funds to be able to move forward on that at all. It's kind of not worth even pricing out at this point, with $144 in our discretionary fund. So, maybe the ones that are, but that we know are kind of far in the distance, kind of be lumped together. So a little bit more in stages. Have fun.
yeah, then the
Yes.
time makes it, yeah, I agree, it makes entirely sense to do that.
Okay, since that's, we're okay.
Yeah,
With that?
Yeah, like,
yeah,
yeah.
Alright.
So for sure, for the Love of Gilroy, I think should be broken off at this point, I think that's of course, I forgot to bring this, I got this ginormous, binder from a commissioner, from years ago. It's the strategic plan and the historical inventory, or I forget what it was called, but I have this archival binder there at my house that I forgot to bring over here, but that would be like a cool thing to kind of share with
You bet.
Yeah.
to see that.
It's true.
Yeah, so
That's really not.
yeah, no, not at all. She wants it back too, so I gotta take care of it. Gotta take care
If
of it.
you want, if you want, you can bring it in, we can scan it,
Yeah,
and then retain the copy of it, give it back to you, and then we can reproduce for everybody.
good idea.
oh yeah,
If that works.
yeah, I think that would work. It'd probably kill a bunch of trees, but I think we can, I'll share. It's pretty. Yeah, maybe a single copy. I like a single copy, yeah.
If you like reading on the computer.
Yes, yes. let's see.
So, so it sounds like, so multicultural community days is kind of, sounds like it might be on pause.
Mhm.
The fundraising gala. I guess the question from the commission is, so obviously that's a,
I mean,
yeah, I
it-
don't wanna like put words in the commission's mouth.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
Outside perspective, it looks like it's more of a, it's kind of risen in importance to, in order to fund.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no, that should probably be more of a priority item, big
Definitely.
time, actually.
mhm.
stuff like that.
Perhaps we could make a staff report page that's just fundraising
In general,
efforts at
yeah.
this point, because I think we might have to work up to
The actual gallons,
actually having a gala.
Yeah.
We need to
we have to
raise
snowball.
funds to be able to raise the funds.
Sure.
Yeah.
Need money to make money?
Yeah, make money, okay.
Is there a way that we could use the public art fund to create a piece of public art that generates funds for the other account? Like it's a public art piece that's available and accessible to everyone, but we potentially sell sponsorships for like naming rights and plaques and that kind of thing for a specific, say in the most easiest way to speak about this is in a potential mural. So we use that funds to hire an artist to do a mural, in which case then we sell sponsorships for naming rights and that kind of stuff, or plaques, or like when people sell bricks on a walkway or what have you, right?
We
Is
can
that
explore that.
Yeah.
There's definitely pitfalls with that
mhm,
could happen, so we just need to really plan it out and make sure that.
yeah,
And it'll probably take, we might take some legal review even, just to make sure that,
that it's possible
That-
to
that's
use the funds that
possible,
way?
yeah.
Mhm,
but
mhm.
I
need to
don't see
sell
reason
the
why not to look
spots
at it.
before we actually make the mural,
Oh, yeah,
because you don't wanna spend $30,000 on a mural and then you only raise 10.
Well, it comes down to, is the fundraising that you're gonna do. As part of the mural, cover the cost of the mural plus some,
Exactly.
or, cause if they're donating for the mural. That would be for the mural, they
Right.
can't go to anything else, so it really depends on how we structure it. But that's definitely something that. The fundraising,
right, cause
so
it,
if we can kind of work through and figure out what options are possible and work back.
cause in my mind, it's like. You do kind of have to figure out what goes first in that scenario, but. Usually when you wanna fundraise, you need a product to sell to fundraise that, and so you kind of have to start some sort of process. And then I feel like with that, of course, we need funds to have someone start that process. And then in the meantime, start to build up the buzz around what's happening. And I think it could be as interesting as selecting like just a very like say, and just throwing out like there's the parking lot next to Orlean Court, the long white wall. There's a little parking lot, there's like Tacos del Güero,
Mhm.
Orlean Court,
Yeah, yeah.
and then that long white,
Yeah.
that barring permissions from the owner and all that stuff of the building or what have you. That's a really big wall that gets tagged a lot. We could talk about beautifying Gilroy. We could talk about, that's like a welcome to Gilroy, like a kind of heroic kind of piece that would be like an entryway at the gateway, economic impact, things we can throw in there, and then sponsored by, Arts and Culture Commission, City of Gilroy, and then, line item after that, of potential other donors that would want their name there on such a like a wall that's gets a lot of traffic obviously right there, so something like that, like of course talking through it more at some other time. Does that seem like at least worth pursuing, something like that, like putting brain power on that?
Yeah,
Depends upon the owner. I
Yeah,
know that because
Yeah.
that wall was there and the owner got rid of it. I
yeah,
mean, whatever. So it depends upon the owner and you know how that works.
yeah, it's definitely, I would say definitely have a conversation about it and. it's one of those things where to put everything on the table, we can evaluate it, but no idea is a bad idea at this point.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Any idea is a good idea at this point,
You have to ask the owner.
and then we can evaluate. whether
Yeah.
it's Together.
That's fine.
So the question would be, would you want that as an item for the full commission, or would you want that to go through the fundraising?
I think that would be
First.
through the fundraising. At this point, it's called fundraising gala, but I think it's just become more like fundraising as a whole.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I
In
think,
that case,
you know,
I mean,
stepping stone.
I I make a possible motion here to, maybe include more of the, commission on, total fundraising efforts, especially like for some of us who might be on projects that are paused.
Mhm.
So, even if it's to delegate,
Yeah,
when
so,
meeting or subcommittees and,
so the 3 is the max without
Mhm.
having to be brought up.
right,
So my recommendation, just because it is at this point so fundamental, that it might be worthwhile just having it as a standing item and everybody just looks on it.
And I don't even want to talk about it, but my term expires, so if we're meeting, my last meeting will be November. So,
Will you
Well,
be,
don't talk about it then.
no, that's what I'm saying, I'm on, no, I'm on that, that's my point,
Yeah.
okay,
So just making a standing item.
that's my
entirely,
point,
Yeah.
so it for the fundraising.
yeah.
And that's coming up very quickly, so that's why I interjected.
yeah, but yeah, so that actually makes it, I think.
Easy.
So the thing makes it more important to have it
Yeah,
as a whole commission
Mhm.
discussing that,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, let's do that.
Then one thing
Yeah.
we also kind of talked about before we had quorum was that, um. We mentioned possibly reprinting some of the art, the artists from For the Love of Gilroy, but
Mhm.
we have to sort of discuss. Uh, whether that is feasible to sell something as members of the commission,
Mm.
so,
That was a question that was posed, you're saying?
yeah, we were
Okay.
sort of saying that that we have to explore what are the possibilities. Because, as commissioners, we're not a business, therefore, I don't know what we can sell things.
Yeah, so we would have to get, so the city would have to get, I believe, sales permit from the state in order to be able to sell merchandise.
Okay.
And so that's something we would have to talk with council policy, so. One of the things that would trigger that discussion potentially is if the commission were to take a recommendation. Or make a recommendation to council, if it's wanting to pursue this, then it's up to the council, so we would go to an agenda
Mhm.
for council. They would see it, it would take a council member to do what we call a fair memo in order to request it to be put on a future agenda for discussion. If the council's interested in taking that on. I would also need to talk that over with the city administrator and, there's definitely
Steps.
more intricacies to that. Just because it can also, it has to be structured in a way where it can't be abused.
Yeah.
Of course,
Either down
I
the.
think it's something that's definitely worth pursuing though.
But if
I think
it's,
so.
Absolutely.
In general.
Yeah.
Right, like
Merge.
considering.
Yeah, there's a chance for us to make money. Let's do it. You know what I mean?
Where we know that. For the foreseeable near future.
Yeah.
We are not gonna. Be receiving public funds, right, so probably have to be raising our
Yeah.
funds.
And plus it's good for the city. It's good for the artists. It gets their name out there. It's good for
Yeah.
everyone. It really is.
And
Because I think there's more potential than that one event.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we should explore like. Just for a baseline,
Hmm.
how much it would cost to reprint,
Yeah.
you know. What kind of overhead we could expect.
Yeah.
And then based on attendance at last year's event, what percentage could we, imagine would purchase
That's
the
true.
reprints, and then since we own the rights, we don't have to give overhead to the artists, but possibly could work out a deal where the artist brings some of their other works.
Yeah.
And then do this sort of like, we'll give you this platform if we can take 25% off the top of your profits or something.
that one That
Yeah,
might be a little more
I know.
on edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that where I-
I had a feeling I was waiting for
Yeah.
you to say something.
Yeah.
You hear
I was
that
like,
breath being held.
It sounds great to me,
Yeah.
but I already know ideas that
So-
sound great to me.
We set this, we set the sport, I mean, obviously all
Right.
explore, but
Yeah.
some
Right,
things that
right.
if we do the selling our own, we know the content and there's no question about. it, but
If they bring their own, yeah, exactly.
That kind of is where it's like, you know.
Yeah, no,
We
okay.
you have to explore that a little more in depth, but it's worth exploring, it is worth exploring,
Okay,
yeah, so.
Yeah.
But the first is to,
Even see.
is basically to,
Awesome.
if that's the commission, where the commission wants to go, then that. They have to produce a recommendation to be shared with council, and then it can start that process.
Okay.
So then I think what would be a good discussion at some point, if it's not this one, maybe the next meeting to discuss more like fundraising ideas outside of that, because I think that was
Yeah.
kind of what I was hoping we could do. I think we shot for the moon, go for the gala, you know, and that's okay. But I think if we're gonna build up to that, then things that feel like a easy win, you know, and I think selling merchandise seems like it's something that if we can make work within the, you know, the guidelines that are approved, then I think that would be like such an easy win outside of, because if we're gonna be tabling at events, or at public events and whatnot, you know, as a commission, then to have something more than like a flyer about the commission would be cool, because then now you
Yeah.
have merchandise
Right,
that, you know, like you said, kind of gives artists a platform. They're on the, you know, on the light post, you know, a few months out of the year, but you know, if we can show up and have some things to sell their artwork, I think that'd be cool too, so.
mugs, t-shirts, reprints, that kind of thing.
mhm.
You never know.
Also, if we make this like just a constant standing item instead of it being a subcommittee, would it be smart then to add like a additional meeting, how we can have like, you know, not an emergency meeting, but something, special meeting, just so that we can have more time to even come up with more ideas for fundraising, in a sense, you know, just to add a meeting that would specifically just kind of be about that. Instead of waiting another month and the month after that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or maybe,
so majority of the.
Or the-
commission
yeah.
Or the chair either can call for special meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just feel like I'd hate to call it in through the market here, you know what I mean? But
We can still offer it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, all you need is a forum.
yeah,
to
no,
make a
totally.
Special meeting. The good news is it doesn't, if somebody can't make a special meeting, it doesn't go.
Oh, okay,
in
then
record because.
it wasn't on the
it's not
schedule.
Predetermined schedule time.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So there's no risk to anybody for.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, make it.
I just think it'd be smart just so we have more time,
yeah,
you know, and more of an effort.
agree.
Yeah.
And then you come to the
But we
meeting
do
with
need
ideas.
forum.
Yeah, exactly. Like all of us
Yeah.
come up with a set of ideas.
Yeah,
But yeah,
no
exactly.
decisions could be made, no directions could be given.
It would just
Yeah,
simply be a
forum.
planning.
So it would just be, all you could do is provide an update, you couldn't even plan.
Oh,
Because at
okay.
some point. It comes back to the commission,
Mhm.
you have the minority that's discussing business and it just.
Right.
So then is
You
it
can't make any
smarter?
decisions, you can't assign tasks or roles as part of
Would-
that, if it's something that the whole commission is involved in.
So then is it smarter to just keep a subcommittee so that they could focus on it and bring it to the whole commission?
It varies.
Yeah, it has both.
The
has-
issue comes down to how productive will the subcommittee be able to be.
Yeah,
as a
that's
subcommittee.
true.
Right. I think, I mean, the idea, we know that we're. As we kind of get through some of these projects, we know in the fall special meeting, we're gonna have to call at least one special meeting,
Mhm.
right? Assuming that we keep to certain timelines. The funding may cause some challenge with that, but
Mhm.
like I said, I might have a meeting on some funding that we can possibly, so I gotta.
Yeah.
Work through that real quick. But. It may just be a need
Mhm.
to have and.
Okay.
It just really depends on the feeling of the subcommittee, but we know that one subcommittee member is,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, we only have to think about, we only have, aside from this meeting, was
I know.
September and October, and that's it.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
Plan scheduled meetings. So everything, some special, so really just depends on how often. The commission as a whole feels like can meet special meetings.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a very long way of not really giving a really solid. answer.
They both have the
Kind of
positive and
benefits-
negative.
we're-
No,
we're
no,
back
it's,
to the
no, I
beginning.
know.
I'm sorry about that, but it really just comes down to, again, it's kind of one of the things we talked about, which I'm glad the commission is doing, when we're kind of reducing down the scope. What do you have time, with all your personal
Yeah,
lives, what do you have time to actually commit to this? Some of this can be done, I mean, obviously, there's some research that city staff is gonna have to be the party to do.
Yeah,
The lion's share is still the planning and ideas has to come from the commission.
yeah.
So,
I mean, in my mind, I'm fine, at least see if we can get more folks at the October meeting or September meeting.
Hmm.
So that during this time, even just like we did now, 15 minutes to brainstorm some other potential ideas.
Yeah.
We still have a fundraising gala subcommittee that could potentially move that forward on the, between meetings or whatnot.
Yeah,
Outside of obviously Camille's you're jumping off.
I'm diving.
You're diving off. And maybe that's something, is that something that you'd be interested in joining
The
in
September
that, in the, well, it would have to be after, unless you're removing yourself from that subcommittee.
No, I don't need to
No,
remove
right?
myself
Yeah.
when I'm not.
Yeah, once
at
you're-
the end
Yeah.
of-
Yeah,
The end of the year's terms,
yeah. So then at that point, you would.
but
be
we have
able
no more
to-
meetings after.
Yeah, the next one after that would be January or February.
January.
Yeah,
in June. The might be able to do both in parallel for commission and committee. The challenge comes is that in between the meetings, the
Right.
committee members cannot communicate till the next public meeting, if
Mm.
others are not on the committee.
Right,
If you could have the commission meeting to be your big planning,
yeah,
and then the commission, then the subcommittee be the one implementing.
okay.
like
That
if-
might be a way, you just have to be very careful not to have communication break that.
Yeah.
Between those meetings. And it might be tempting, so that's the one thing that we kind of taught Josh about, so we can't. The biggest thing is to avoid about a violation.
Yeah.
That makes sense, okay.
Okay, so for making the recommendation to council, are there steps? And this is about, getting a license from the state.
Mhm.
What steps would be needed beforehand? Should we just kind of?
So it has to be an agendized item,
Okay,
so at the earliest it can be as the next. Regular order, if you want to convene a special meeting to consider. That would be where the recommendation has to happen.
Mhm.
Somebody on the commission has to craft the recommendation.
Okay,
okay,
And so, that can kind of help a little bit, but the writing really does have to come from one of the commissioners. And then ideally, that is a document in the agenda packet for the commission to weigh in on if that recommendation is what's desired. So
okay,
Got it.
you can assign the member or a couple members to work on it, as long as there's under 3.
yeah,
They can work on it, craft it, and then bring it back to their full commission. What's the next full commission meeting to take it before the commission to see if they want to vote to support it.
Cool.
I'm a professional writer, if anybody wants me
I think you should own that.
to.
I'm at capacity right now, so I
Thank
be
you.
able to help with that. but-
Sure,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you.
So let's communicate on that one, because there's a specific format for communications from the commissions and make sure.
Okay, all right.
So that.
Yeah.
Nice, okay. And then,
Oh,
so.
sorry, did everybody want to do that?
No,
I'm like, let's just,
you can't, you
No,
have to wait.
oh, I see.
That's,
That's
so
what-
at this
that's what
point,
these
so
items
now
are.
you're talking about an action,
Got
Mhm.
but that's not agendized on this week, so we can't talk about it here.
I
It's-
see, that's what.
It's
the
a real
agenda
careful
is.
dance. Yeah,
I
so
see.
that will have agendized and that's where you'll.
That's
talk
where I
about.
want
So
to
it's-
be recommended,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
perfect. Okay,
Sorry,
now I
I
understand.
feel bad to interrupt.
no.
No, I interrupted, so.
You're here for a reason.
Yeah.
Keep us all safe.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Keep us in the lines.
Okay, so should we go through? at least wanna go through some of the other project stuff, so. For the love of Gilroy, I think we still need to meet, you, myself,
Mhm.
and Chair Ringus, so that we can. I know we had written down, I don't know if it's carried anywhere, the notes of the timeline, or like the proposed timeline.
We
for that.
have so I have written down the steps, but we didn't put like days or timeline. And I think that one of the questions for that was because we needed to have the bid process things off, I think was that, hold up.
Mhm.
At this point, we have several options, but we don't want to trigger the subscription until we know what's happening, so we really
Got it,
are ready to plan and implement the rest of it for the call for artists.
got it.
So I think at this point, if the subcommittee's meeting, I'd like to be part of that one because we need to. Basically, several things have happened concurrently, and so if we all meet, we can get that knocked out.
Yeah. We can have
Got
it
it.
that way.
Okay, so then,
So,
can we, is that an email thread
yeah,
you can
so
start?
what I'll do is I'll go and start it off,
Okay,
and then what I'll do is kind of pull for dates and times, what days and times typically work for your schedules, and then we'll find something where it all matches up.
Perfect.
And then have a first meeting.
Sounds great.
that'll be it.
And then as part of that, we can talk about, so I know the funding was kind of cringy on for the event, right? So we have the funding for the actual banners, purchase rights, the actual hanging of them, all that's fine, it's just the event.
Yeah.
I might, this was something, there might be some funding sources that I can pull together. We've got to check real quick before I can commit to it, but, and that's something we can kind of talk about that first meeting is what might be available funding wise and then report back.
Okay.
What was that budget last year, the funding budget?
Yeah,
On that?
We had a couple thousand for the event itself.
Mhm.
The stage was the biggest
Yeah, it's the,
cost element to it. Really, that was the primary one.
The stage?
Yeah, and that
Okay.
was,
'cause we had apple juice.
we had apple
Remember
juice,
that?
yes, yeah, we had apple juice.
That we splurged on
I
that.
was spurred on that, but it wasn't, but even then that was not a big price.
Yeah,
tag
that
on
was
that, unfortunately.
not.
Really, that was the primary
The stage, right?
cost of the stage. So it doesn't take a lot to do it, which is why I think I can hobble together some funds to do the same one.
Mhm.
If we're going to expand on that, the other one was the paying for the dance. That was
Oh,
only like
right.
$250. I think.
Yeah, it
It
was
wasn't
a
terrible.
small, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So those are the big cost items. So
Okay.
so yeah, we can I think we can probably pull something else together for that one. But we'll know for sure once at the time we have the subcommittee meet. I'll
Yeah.
have a better idea at that point what we've got available.
Yeah, because it was audio. Was that audio that we?
That was our audio, that was our
Okay.
system, yeah, that was Michelle's system,
Okay.
so we'll
That's
work
good.
that one again.
Audio, and then the podium too, was that also included?
Yeah, it was ours.
Okay, cool. Okay, so it's not, it seems pretty lightweight unless we go heavy on snacks or something, but the stage seems like the most appropriate. And we got balloons for free.
Yeah, that
last year, so that was cool.
awesome contribution.
It just happened to be a bunch of balloons were around, and we're like, we're just gonna put them right here.
I think it was out of the, like, on it, Neon Exchange.
Yeah, the Neon Exchange had
Yeah,
an
they had some
event.
kind of event.
They're like,
They
we're
wanna
done with
sell
balloons.
on our balloons?
Yeah, so we got a nice decorative package for free, so that was nice.
Okay.
Is that something if we need, well, it seems like if you're gonna be able to find the funds, we don't have to break our backs for it, but is that something we could potentially have? If we needed to try to find sponsors for it, something like that? That opens up-
That's the goal, so that's one of the reasons we got the fundraising policy through, was to be able to get donations for it, so it doesn't have to just be cash donations, we can get what's called in-kind donations, which is. Like the balloons, like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll donate the balloons, or hey, somebody might donate the apple cider, or donate the stage,
You're doing it,
that kind of
yeah.
stuff, so. The key is just really honestly, is trying to lock in early.
Yeah,
We lock in early, it's fine, it's the last minute where people are like, oh, I already got it committed, web, so
Mhm.
I ain't paying the money to rent this thing out, whereas. If you get them early on, they might hold it in reserve, but
yeah, that makes sense.
we'll see.
Okay,
So I think that'll be the big drive for that one, so we'll have that one broken out as a separate staff report as well going forward,
Mhm.
history. Schedule, multicultural community days. I kind of agree, that one might stay in a combined staff report until
yeah,
that was ready to go. if that-
Yes, I
okay.
think so, yes.
Yeah.
As of last meeting, I had done some research and found several different troops from various cultures and, international locations and, that are all local, between Monterey and San Jose area. But, mostly around Gilroy and Poster, and there was also Morgan Hill. But beyond that and coming up with a general scope of, what a day could look like in programming, just kind of we've paused it because we need the funds. So,
Yeah,
The fundraising talks about that one. So the update the arts and culture strategic plan. So this one doesn't take money.
I was about to say, it's the only one that I don't need a penny. We don't need a cent. But the good thing about this is it's also not something that needs to be done immediately. It can be one of the ones that we can also just probably package together at the very end. You know what I mean? Just move it. Even if it moves slowly, moving some movement
Yeah,
at that.
yeah, I'm okay with, it would be a lot easier to work on something like that in January, but I'm just speaking from my place,
Yeah.
but if, again, like if it doesn't need the subcommittee doesn't need to be all three people for it to work, it's just less than four, right? So.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
two can meet.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So that will stay with the multicultural days on the combined report. The public art resource document.
That's right. This one, but
So-
this one was an interesting one, right? It didn't have a subcommittee, but it was mostly just.
Yeah, so I
Something that
think
we
that,
kind of wanted to make the booklet of the past art and all the artist information.
Yeah.
Something.
yeah, this is that one. So I think that there wasn't really anybody that wanted to be like to spearhead and.
Yeah.
And do it, so it's decided to stay at the commission level. The community development department is coming at their next meeting to talk about when they condition public art as part of the development.
Yes,
No.
that's right, we
Process
had
there.
asked for that,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah,
we did.
so we couldn't make this meeting work, but they are available for the next meeting, so.
Okay, great.
I don't remember which planners, I think it's Michael, our senior planner, is
Mhm.
coming in to do that presentation.
Perfect.
That's great. Then we get more context and then it actually makes sense what we're talking about.
So one of the things to think about is that meeting, the next meeting, between how things go with the subcommittees. And it could be a very long meeting.
Mhm.
So that's something to think about too, as far as when the agenda comes out. It may be at the beginning, may say, we're not gonna talk about this, or.
Yeah,
I think
just,
It's gonna be too long, but we'll I'll kind of structure it based on everything.
yeah,
going,
yeah.
And then we'll
Priorities
just kind of
first.
plan at the beginning, figure out, we know the community development one will go because we'll have a staff person here to do it.
Mhm.
So that, we want more people over here.
Yeah.
But we'll kind of go from there. Okay. I don't know if there's any further discussion that. We need the takeaways we have, so I'll send out the poll for the first meeting for the Love of Joy event subcommittee. We're gonna have fundraising be. Commission-wide. Discussions, but the subcommittee implemented? Or was that something that we're still thinking about?
If the subcommittee vote,
Doing the implementation of like the fundraising, so everybody throwing it in, or is it everybody talking about it all at once? That's the one.
I know.
have note, but I'm like, it's kind of questioning mark.
I mean, I think it's good to keep the subcommittee formed, but I don't know if.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see the positive of that, but I also see the positive of it just having it as a wider
Discussion.
section, just because I feel like then we can have multiple inputs.
Mhm.
Well, what
That's
about
the
this then?
implementation, we will.
We'll have that be the full commission. Those are only two with separate stand for, so maybe for the time being, those are the only two items, except for the community development department presentation.
Okay,
Okay.
And we'll just have those be the things, and it'll be a long meeting still, because we'll be putting all their ideas on the table.
yeah.
Okay.
Love that.
Okay.
And then my possible. Question about recommending. to
Yes,
Yeah. which I think should be fast, hopefully,
Yeah, and that can fall under the fundraising staff item.
right?
Yeah.
Good. Sorry, guys, my voice is coming out. It's,
No, no,
I'm
don't.
not sick, it's just,
The dry hair.
I, yeah, and I have
A lot of it's a dry hair.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a paralyzed
You're real.
vocal cord from radiation and it just,
Don't
it gives out
apologize.
from time to time.
Don't
No.
apologize.
Okay. Continuing the discussions, I think we're
We're
good with that one.
Good for
Yeah,
whole
it's-
business then?
Yeah, it's,
Okay, and new business, overview of the process to request council to dedicate surplus funds to arts and cultural purposes, yes.
yes, this was the item that was discussed. During the future agenda items, the last meeting. So what's the process? Again, it's very similar to it's exactly the process they're doing as far as requesting fundraising efforts, right? So anytime we're wanting something like this is really a policy discussion that's entirely privy to council identified. So what we have to do is have a recommendation form of what is there asked the council to consider. Take it back as an agenda item, future meeting. And then the commission would have to vote on whether to make that recommendation or not.
Mm.
If it passes, then it gets put onto the council agendas and the council correspondence. It'll be announced by the mayor, he'll read the title of it, he
Yeah.
won't read the total item, it doesn't get discussed at that meeting, it's informational only. But then it's up to a councilman if they want to take it up, then they do a future agenda item request or fair memo.
Mhm.
The council to add to a future agenda for discussion, so it's a long process, but. The acronym is fitting and both thoughts that it gives everybody a fair shot to
Mhm.
submit something for council and they get to spend time really evaluating it for something of interest. And so that's really the process.
Okay.
There are some, as mentioned, there are some discussions that came up for the strategic planning session, so there's a surplus allocation that's used for retirement and other post-employment benefits. That was a measure to help kind of offset for the higher costs of unfunded liabilities that we have. There's also a discussion item on, as part of the agenda, of an amount that's to be reserved for future park improvements. That one is still very early on, so one council member proposed as part of the strategic planning session, so at some
Yeah.
point. That's coming back to the council for consideration, but that is sometime within the next 2 years.
Yeah, right.
It may be sooner, maybe it just depends on kind of the workflow and what's happening with that. So that process is happening. So it would be something similar to that. If it gets approved, then it'll be then evaluated
Mhm.
for what could work and have to be considered with all the other allocations of surplus funds, just because of eventually start locking in all the surplus funds
Yeah,
for dedicated programs. So they have to really evaluate that from a policy perspective.
yeah, that makes.
So that's a really high level overview.
Yeah,
Obviously, as it goes through the process, once as the council takes it up and says, yeah, we want to evaluate this. Then it gets a lot more into the weeds and details, because you have to analyze everything that we can about it to make sure we present the council a fair and accurate kind of picture of what that would look like.
is there ever a time when council would not take up a particular proposal?
So a lot of things go for council correspondence. A few items get taken up, but not everything. It just depends. So. One example would be the recommendation from Parks and Recreation Commission. To go out for an architect for the Donald Ellis Prieto Holiday Park.
Mhm.
We're to council. So far, we haven't seen anything. Doesn't mean it's not coming. Somebody might be working on it. But the recommendation is also to staff. So we know what's on our radar. But again, it comes down to, like in that case, funding, right? So the
Yeah.
council's we already have the budget
Yeah.
schedule going into reserves to pay for some additional code enforcement officers. So anything additional would have to hit more of the reserves, which is to kind of help us going during tougher financial times. So there's all this consideration that come in when item comes to council for whether they want to take it up or not.
Right.
Uh,
So say they don't, like, is there a time where you just go, okay, so that guess we haven't heard anything, so that must mean no, like, sort of like auditioning, you know?
It's one of-
Just
yeah,
not getting an
yeah.
answer.
So my recommendation at that point is like,
Yeah.
if I would give it a couple of months
Yeah,
Mhm.
afterwards, but just because the fair memo process does take some time, because they have to craft a memo, have to meet with the city administrator, go over. the financials and the staff impact. And so if somebody takes it up, somebody starts to pick it up, it can take a little bit to go through the process.
Yeah.
So I'd say after about 2 months, you should start planning as if it's not going, so other alternatives. That would be my thought on that process. And then if later on, find out someone was working on it, just took a little bit longer to get to the finish line. Then it's still a boom, but you still have these other contingencies in play too, so,
Right,
yeah.
okay. Good to know.
So then outside of us making the recommendation. Is that something that a council member could also like initiate from their end?
So they can initiate anything on their end,
Yeah,
our council can.
so,
Again, it's up to the council at that point, so they produce the memo, have the item, it goes on to future request. And the council decide whether they can hear it, so they don't actually discuss the item first time it's on the agenda, it's just discuss whether they want to bring it back to council for. Deeper evaluation, yeah.
got it.
So any council member can do that for any topic they want. There is some, obviously a recommendation from the commission, just carry it with this council.
Yeah,
We've shown that time and time again. So it's not without benefit to do it.
got it.
There's no guarantee, but they listen to the commission's reform recommendations and.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising.
So to format the recommendation, what does that look like? For us to format the recommendation to?
Yeah, so it's basically,
Consider
it's basically a template letter, so let's say, it says at the top, from the Arts and, Communication and Arts and Culture Commission. Has a Arts and Culture Commission logo, lists the commissioners on the top, has the memo, basically what the recommendation is. It's signed by the chair, lists out the vote. Okay, this many people voted yes, no, so then I'd sign as executive sponsor, and then that letter. Will then be put in the packet, next available council packet.
Got it, okay. Since you're a professional writer and all. Is that, now I'm not saying you have to do it, but is that of interest to you?
That's.
To your forte there? I think that would be, if that was something that you wanted to move forward, I think that would be great, because I don't know if there's other, besides hoping that a council member would take that on upon themselves, like you said, then the best case scenario, or the most sure way to get this ball rolling would be for it to come from us. Correct, and so then I think if you're interested in and able to take that on, then I think that would be, I think, a great asset for the commission, so that way. What would she need to do to make that possible?
Maybe the exact.
Just you
name
just
is-
send her the template,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
that-
So basically, we were gonna meet, I'll find a time that works for you, and then we kind of go over the template, just so you know how it's structured, and I'll give you the Word version, and so you can edit it. And then at that point, we would then submit it back to me, and then once I have that, I can put it as an agenda item for the next commission's meeting to make the vote and see if they want to get a recommendation.
So there was two
So
recommendations.
now there's two recommendations going, yeah.
Got it. We can always decide which one is priority. It's better not to send two at once, or.
It's where the commission wants to do it.
Okay, so then. Is there any action we need to take at the moment for those people?
Yeah, at this point, with all informational only, we can't take action, so it's like we can dice for action.
Got it. Alright. So then that moves us on then to. Gilroy art related community event updates. I have one. The La Casa de Cultura y Arte at the old Willie House is soft opening this Friday. As part of the third Friday Art Walk. So we're focusing primarily on performing arts. So poetry, theater, singing, music, dance. We'll have Manos Folklorico performing there to kick off, and then we'll also have a performance by Teatro Jaguar, and that's a new sort of community theater group that will be housed there at La Casa de Cultura. And myself, my 2 kids, and my dad are part of it. So that's, if you wanna see a whole 3 generations
That's so cool.
performing, that'd be fun.
awesome.
There's a bigger group of us. It's mostly gonna be improv, so it'll be interesting. But we have a structure around it
Yeah.
that we're gonna work with. So yeah, I'm excited. That's led by Carolina Perez, so she's the coach there, and so we're all just kind of following her lead there, and hopefully y'all get to experience that. Following will also be an open mic, so anyone who wants to get on the mic, whether a small acoustic set or a poem or singing, that kind of thing, that'll be the first of many. We want to do weekly open mics so that folks can just get into the custom of coming to hang out at La Casa, just workshop some new material, or just get in front of a small audience, and so, if you know of folks that might be interested in something like that, please let them know. Or even yourselves too, if you're interested. So I think that would be really cool, right? I don't know. I heard you do like some mean breakdancing. Yeah, right? Oh, bebop. Oh, okay. Oh, let's go.
I will drive the audience away so fast.
They're just doing that.
Yeah.
No.
So I love it. Just snaps all around. So yes, that's this Friday. It's part of Third Friday Art Walk. So
That's all.
and Third Friday Art Walk is this Friday, which has a bunch of really cool things happening. It's organized by Catholic Charities this month, so they're doing a bunch of stuff to get locations going. Including someone I've been wanting to help participate, and it's the Girl Historical Society.
Oh,
We'll be leaving they'll have the museum open later that evening. And they'll be tabling at La Casa and sending folks across the street to go hang out and like experience the museum. Because there's a lot of folks here that have just never stepped foot in there. So that's the hope, to get them involved more. So mhm.
Awesome.
Other arts and culture events y'all have heard about lately? Well, this Thursday, I think, is the finale of Downtown Live. So GDBA's Downtown Live, that's the finale. And then the 30th of August will be
Round table.
that's
There's a table.
that's the 27th, yeah. 27th of August will be the Gilroy Arts Roundtable, which will happen at La Casa this month, and it'll be more of a social gathering versus like a more
It'll be
formal
at the
meeting.
what?
Yeah.
Okay, not at the Alliance.
Not the Arts Lounge, yeah.
Yes.
And then the 30th is the grand opening of La Casa de Cultura. So we'll make a bigger ruckus about that, but it'll be live performances, vendors, tabling, food and drink, all that good stuff. So everyone's invited. Hopefully y'all come out and experience this space that has a lot of work to do still. So so yeah.
So good. And you said you were improv. Are you dancing? Or are you?
It's it's mostly different scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the structure is
Theater.
more theater based. It's the premise, without any spoilers, is someone watching TV. So we get to do the scenes of
Yes.
them watching TV. Yeah. So
Okay.
it allows us more. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
maybe maybe.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that. So, no other announcements there or updates? Commission comments? Any other comments on this?
No.
I think this is great. I think we've commented out.
30.
Staff comments.
I gotta ruin the tradition. I
Yeah,
comment.
yeah, you have to have a-
So first, I want to introduce officially the commission, Stefan Mercer.
Yes.
So Stefan's taking over, so Kylie we did a little bit of shuffling around, so Kylie's gonna support the library commission. Just because of the timing and what she has available too, and so Stefan's gonna be supporting us, so he'll be taking a more and more role as we go along. So today's just observing and he'll be sort of taking on more of the projects and helping out with the
Nice.
commission, so.
Right.
Excellent having them on.
Welcome. I like the little round of applause. For
Oh,
you.
no.
You know, why not? No, let's go.
Again, hey.
Again, hey, I'll take it.
Thank you so much.
Is there a space for him to speak on a little bit about himself personally? Is that a thing?
Yeah, if you feel.
I'd love to know more about you and your background. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been with the city of Gilroy, working here within the city of Gilroy since June of last year. Try to make it quick. I started off at the front desk. That's where I actually met Miss McCormick there for the first time at the front desk in a part-time temporary space. Was extended a couple times, flopped around in different departments, and then was able to stick around with the administration. So I've been full-time since May of this year, and it's been awesome. I'm from Gilroy, so
Nice.
Gilroy's been home since I was five
Great.
Awesome.
5 years old.
So
So
big commute,
yeah, I'm sorry.
no big commute.
Oh my,
Yeah, no.
that in itself
Yeah.
is
What
so.
a blessing.
Sorry.
That's all right.
But yeah, no, that's one awesome part about it. But the coolest thing has been able to see the city from this vantage point, right?
Yeah,
And
for sure.
like,
I bet.
this is, I think it's really neat to be, I'm sitting on council meetings, to sit on commissions and see how the inner workings of place that I call home, right? And so
Mhm.
it does feel pretty, I get to be impactful a little bit, right? Just working for the city, and I really enjoy being able to be in this space too. And I'm excited to work alongside you guys and support however I can. And because same city that I raised my kids in too, right? And so I appreciate you guys and all the hard work that you guys have already put in. Yeah, well, I'll keep it there. There'll be more time.
Do you have a creative background? Is my last
A
question.
little bit.
Yeah?
Actually, yeah. A little bit.
Oh, that's a whole other conversation. Got it. Okay, all right. I like
Exactly.
I love that. All right.
But yeah,
Well,
we can chat for
you
sure.
know.
Sure, General, if you want.
So I do I sing so a little bit of a musician. I perform locally actually.
Cool.
I've had opportunities to like do stuff outside of Gilroy, but I tend to try to keep it within here. I'd rather people bring themselves here as opposed to making people go anywhere else, right? And so and I think that that's also a part that's really birthed from me starting to work for my city as well. Because I used to just like an event here or there because people knew I sang, and then I was able to get the equipment that was needed so I don't have to continue to rent. And so I'm like, you know what, let's bring some attention to what we've done, like what we got here. And so I've been able to perform at the beer crawl. I've been able to perform at the wine stroll, a couple wineries locally, a couple other breweries local as well. And so it is neat to see, like, to hear what's going on with the Willie House, and just other ways that you guys can dream and come up with funds so that we can make more funds and just do exciting stuff that our city needs.
Yeah.
And
So we
so
can have more work.
exactly, like arts and culture, and yeah, it's huge, especially out this way, right? And so there's a way that we can continue to highlight it and bring attention and interest. I think that would be I'm for it. So as long as within our scope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that thermometer check?
There are rules. Yeah, I've still learned some of those rules too, right? So like there's already been moments where I'm like, oh, that's cool. And it's like, oh yeah. Strictly recognition. So yeah, no, but it's really exciting just to be in this space, and it gets me even more excited to be around in the future. So
Right.
Where did you learn to sing?
I've been singing since my dad would tell stories of me singing before I could put full sentences together. And so I sang just growing up for fun because that was our household. My dad wrote, not professionally.
Yeah.
But he wrote. My brother would write in high school and stuff, and so music, poetry, spoken words, all that stuff I kind of caught on to. And then I was lucky enough I went to Gilroy High School.
Yeah, the choir.
Mr. Phil Robb.
You bet.
I was the year after I graduated was his last year. And so I caught the tail end of Mr. Robb, like
Wow.
long time
You bet.
choir director for
You
the
bet.
city, for Gilroy High
Outstanding.
School. Put together and then after Gilroy High School, I went to West Valley, and there's great choirs I was a part of there within their honors group. My senior year of high school is still, I would still say, is probably the best music I've ever like put together. And so Mr. Rob is, yeah, he's
So,
Oh,
big deal. But yeah, so I've between Mr. Rob at Gilroy High School and West Valley and church as well.
yeah, I was gonna say church.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to sing in some pretty cool platforms, pretty cool spaces, and I now I get to do it at my own leisure, and that's the cool thing about art, right? It's like you don't have to give it up until you're actually ready to give it up. And so yeah, there's a ton of respect for y'all around this table and like what you're able to do, and excited to
And God gave you a good voice box, I could hear.
oh thank you.
It helps when you're
Sure.
singing.
Yeah, no, truly.
I'm not
And the
just-
breath. And the
That's
breath.
exactly correct. I know.
Absolutely. Well, no, I appreciate you all giving me a second to help familiarize yourselves with me, and yeah, I'll be around.
oh, you're welcome.
A couple more. I sent an email, the art commissioner group camp that Silicon Valley creates, bring on, get like a push back to October. So that was an email that was sent, didn't get it from the mail and there's that. I think it's in the evening. I don't know if I think it's Mountain View or somewhere up further north.
Yeah.
It's a little challenge for us down here. But if you have any questions about that, and we're hoping to get some kind of information about the program, but right now I'll have some date and time, so work on that one. And then the last, we had some change between the two meetings. We now have a new city administrator, interim city administrator, right now Brad Kilger.
Yeah,
And so obviously anytime there's a leadership change, there's, we kind of work through some things. So, but so far everything's going pretty smooth. So when you make the recommendation, that'll be a change because I think the template still has a former city administrator on, so we'll get that changed too.
Okay.
So yeah, so the recruitment will go for that. There's actually a lot of positions in recruitment right now for the city, so if you know anybody it's take on police chief
I
or
was gonna
city
say,
administrator or
Or
something.
both,
We've got
can
quite
we
a
do
bit.
both?
That'll be really tough.
Yeah.
That's really tough. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the two big ones, right? Those two
Yeah.
roles.
That's rules, yeah. So, but a lot of good stuff. Yeah. Also, that's good stuff. I think that's it for my comments.
Great, thank you. Future agenda item requests. Is this where that happens, or no? So the things we had talked about before?
I think we kind of got direction already.
Yeah.
Maybe, so I think we're okay. If there's something else that commission wants to talk about, the next meeting we can put it on.
No,
I think.
we're good,
Mhm.
cool. All right, so adjourn the meeting at 7:51. Yeah, of course, now Melanie's gonna laugh at my meetings always take long.
I think it was yesterday, your son in the military.
Who was it?
I think
Yeah.
it was yesterday.
Uh,
She may be somewhere
that's
where
fine.
they're sending him off.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, it's the military.